Hello, my name is Sergio Rastafong from Team Sapphire, and the very first level we will be walking into is a construction site. For the overall feel for the level, we wanted to go with tall buildings to make it seem more city-like. As we walk into this room, we get introduced into the first mechanic, which is a switch panel, which draws on this bridge. As we enter this next area, we see that there's a lever next to the door, which is the introduction for when you pull it, it opens the door. As we enter inside this next building, we see that there are 3 levers. This is a practice for my levers that you need to turn all these on, and they're turn green when they turn on, and I'll open up the store. For the second mechanic, for the switch panels, you need to do the same thing you did in the previous room, except hit the switch panels all on to bring down this bridge. So when I turn on this lever, you see in the text that something has fallen back into the building. If we go back, we see that this wall has fallen down and led us to an outside area to an elevator. As we go up the elevator, we see that we are now on the second floor of the building, which is a twist of both mechanics. What you need to do in this room is turn on all these switch panels and levers so that they turn green. When doing this, it will activate an animation on that green light, which will bring down the wall. As we enter outside, we have completed the objective to find a way to get to the drill. If you go up these crates, you see that there are collectibles that if the player follows them, it'll help guide them into the next area. Now entering the second building, we see that we need to jump across the other side of the building in order to reach the switch panel and the lever. If we activate both of them, we see that we get this animation that lets us through the hole in the wall. Here, we will find that there is another elevator that we can take up onto the rooftop of the building. Finally, we reach the master of all the mechanics together, which we need to jump across to hit the switch panels and levers and throw them all. Activating the first 2 switch panels will activate the animation, and pulling the lever will activate the final animation to bring down both drawbridges in order to get across the drill and activate it. Once you activate the lever, you will now see that there's a smoke effect that comes up, which will lead the player to wonder what is going down towards the pit. Once you fall down the pit, that would be the last objective in my mission, which will be the end of my level.
Hello, my name is Kai Hawthorne, and this is my level, Planes, Cranes, and Automobiles. The player's goal here is to get to a recently crashed Bastion aircraft by traversing a collapsing double-decker highway. My first mechanic here is very simple, just using these switches to lift cranes to get to the various levels of the map. My second mechanic I introduce here before the player has to deal with it is collapsing rubble that is marked by a certain material on the ground and a debris effect and a very strong sound effect. I wanted the players to know for certain when they were on those sections. The second one here for the crane lifting just requires a simple hop up onto the crane as it's moving up, slightly harder than the first one. And the top floor here becomes slightly more challenging with collapsing terrain, longer stretches of it, and objects have to be moved out of the way, things like that. As the level goes on, I've slowly increased the difficulty of all of the player's actions, requiring a small jumping section here before leading up to the final challenge, which requires a combination of all of the efforts. The player has to make it across a long collapsing segment, navigating through cars here before hopping onto this platform at the end. One of the things that I have done is make it so that even if the player fails at any section in the level, they can still hop across some of the rubble that remains and make it to the end regardless. Once the player reaches the crashed plane on the roof here, they've achieved their goal and are good to go.
Hello, my name is Sean Guffey, and I am a level designer for SCRAPS. The theme of my level is an inner-city game design studio, and the goal is to acquire an old computer for a tinkering bast. The 2 mechanics I used are pressure plates and switch panels. They have a similar purpose of closing or opening doors, and depowering force fields. I used an IPM pacing for my level. The player is introduced to two mechanics near each other, as you are seeing currently, and then they are given a break where they have to walk down this hallway, and then they practice both mechanics. Then they get another break before they master the given mechanics and beat the level. But at the moment, they are practicing, and once they complete it, the door will open, the light turns green, and they move on to the break room. This is where the player is introduced to the force field mechanic, where there are two force fields blocking two separate doorways, and once the puzzle is solved, as it just was, they both will disappear and allow the player to access the next one, which is the first master mechanic for the pressure plate. Using boxes that are gathered around the level, the player will be able to activate this pressure plate and remove the force field that is blocking the hallway and their progression. So 4 boxes in total that will activate it, get rid of the force field, and then they have to jump over a little obstacle. And then there's a very large force field blocking the next section of the level. Grabbing that box, they can either use that box or any of the other physics objects around the level. And then they grab the computer. They crawl through the little vent. Go up the stairs. Out the door. And then my level has been completed.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob, and today I have created an abandoned nuclear facility. The objective of the player is to find all the levers and to find loot along the way. Now when you first walk in, you're going to walk through a little crevice, pull the lever, and then walk back. And once the player walks back, they're going to look right, and they're going to realize that a door has opened. The player must then navigate to that door, jumping over any obstacles that they may need to. And once they do, they're going to pick up loot along the way and walk towards the left. And once they reach the other side, they're going to realize a green light that they must then go to. Once the player reaches the green light, they're going to go down the hall, picking up loot along the way to reach the room on the other side. And once they do, they're going to realize another green light that they must go towards and pull the lever. The player must then go back to the main room, crouch under the vent, maybe picking up loot that they've forgotten. And once the player reaches the other room, they're going to realize a toxic waste spill that they must keep away from, otherwise they will take damage. Once the player navigates their way to the other door, they're going to see another green light that they must go towards, and then pull the lever. The player must go back, and once the player goes back, they're going to go towards the right, and they're going to realize another door with a red light on top, telling them to go towards it. The player must go along the wall to make sure they do not take any damage from the toxic waste spill. And once the player reaches the other room, they're going to see another toxic waste spill that they must keep away from. The player must go on the sides of the room so that they must not take any damage. After the player reaches the other side, they're going to see a small dim red light that they must go towards. The player will go towards that red light, go down this little miniature hall, and yet see another lever and another door towards the right. Once the player opens that lever, the door to the right will open, allowing them to go inside to pull the other lever. The player must then go back down the miniature hall to get to the other side of the room. Now the player must again go on the side of the room so that they must not take any damage from the toxic waste spill, jumping around obstacles that may block them. And once the player reaches the side, they're going to realize another open door. The player will go through that door, go down the hall, and make a right, grabbing loot to get to this room. The player will then see the final switch, allowing them to go through the back exit. And once the player goes through the back exit, they have finished the level.
Hello, my name is Jaden Modis, and this is my level, A Troubled Train Yard. Initially, the player will be led by breadcrumbs to the first pressure plate, hidden behind some train cars. When it is activated, it will open the door to the control room. The pressure plate needs to stay active, as seen here, in order for the door in the control room to stay open. The player will head towards the control room, running up the stairs across the way. Once the player makes their way into the control room, they will be introduced to the first lever. When this lever is pulled, the initial train car that was in the way will move, allowing passage onto the second room. Again, being led by the breadcrumbs, the player will ascend some stairs and come upon a closed door, followed by a collectible on top of a nearby train car. After jumping on the car and retrieving the collectible, the second pressure plate will be visible to the player. When it is activated, it will rotate the train car, which will lock the player in, allowing an escape from the area and a path towards the set of stairs. After climbing them, there is an easy access to the now open door on the second floor. Once more, the player will operate a lever that moves the train car that is blocking the way to the train. While inside the train tunnel, the player will be blocked by some grapple objects, which will need to be moved out of the way. And once they leave the tunnel, they'll enter the final room. Upon entering the final room, the player will need to ascend a set of stairs and enter a control room to have access to a lever. This lever will rotate a train car out of the way, opening a path to a pressure plate. The pressure plate opens the previously closed door that was next to the lever just pulled. Again, this pressure plate needs to stay active, with objects staying on it. So again, the player will go back to the set of stairs, ascending them, and enter the control room. They will see the open door and go to the other side. Once pulled, the player can crawl through a crack in the wall to get past the now moved train car on the other side. After passing this train car, the player will see a final train car that can be operated with a lever within the control room. After ascending a set of stairs, the player will enter the control room, which has a lever inside. When pulled once, the train car outside will rotate and move to the left, giving the player the ability to jump over some train cars, accessing the pressure plate across the way. If the player does not make the jump and falls back to the floor, they can run back up the stairs and attempt it again until they make it to the other side. This pressure plate, like before, can be activated by placing a box on top of it. Afterwards, the player jumps down and then has two options. They can build up to the second pressure plate using boxes, as seen here, or go back into the control room and pull that same lever 2 more times, rotating and moving the same train car to the right, across to the pressure plate. Both methods, along with the first plate's continual activation, results in the final door opening to the left. Upon entering the vault, the
player's goal, which is the alloy, will be present in the center of the room. After collecting it, the player runs outside, following a path around the building, leading to a broken fence. The player will crouch and crawl through the opening, then passing through an open train car, which is the final transition to the ending of our level. The player follows a path towards the ending, and along the way, there will be several obstacles, such as cars, trucks, and other vehicles, until the player reaches the stairway leading up to the operational train going into the bastion. Thank you for watching our video, and I hope you enjoyed it.